Today, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of living in Coppell, Texas, because I truly believe you need to know both before you make a huge decision to move to Texas and then end up in the wrong place. And so there are some amazing things about Coppell, and then there are not so amazing things about Coppell. And it really will boil down to your perspective on what you think is good and bad. But I'm going to tell you what mine is, and I'm going to start with the pros, because there are a lot of great things, and I'm going to end with the cons. So make sure you stay and watch to the end, because there are some major cons that you really need to know about before making that final decision. The first pro I want to talk about is proximity. You literally can get anywhere in the metroplex really, really fast from Coppell. You are 25 minutes to downtown Fort Worth. You're 25 minutes to Dallas. You're literally maybe 10 minutes from the Dallas Fort Worth Airport. It's super fast to get there. And then to Love Field Airport, which is in Dallas, you're maybe 20 minutes, 25. It's unbelievable how quickly you can get anywhere. Frisco, 20 minutes. Proximity is probably the biggest pro that it has going for it. Okay, another really great pro is all of the community parks. Coppell has done a really great job of its layout in the fact that it's got a ton of community parks, and then within all of the subdivisions, there's parks as well. And if you've watched my last vlog tour of Coppell, I show you some of those. So first of all, you've got Wagon Wheel Park, and it's going to be baseball fields, soccer fields. It's going to have trails to walk on, very community oriented. Another one is the Coppell Nature Park. It's actually 66 acres of nature preserve, and it's got 5 miles of trails. And it's just beautiful. You can actually see wildlife out there, bobcats, hawks, coyotes, just so many things. And it's a really popular place to go with your family and go walking and just explore, get outside, breathe fresh air, get sunshine, some vitamin D. Maybe you want to go biking. Maybe you want to have a picnic. There's so many things that you can do to really get outdoors at this nature park versus being inside playing video games. So it's a great deal to have that close to you. There's also Andrew Brown Park. It's actually a sports facility. And what's really cool about it is there's a running track, there's basketball, there's volleyball, softball, there's playgrounds. It actually is kind of a big recreational center for the community. You also have outdoor water parks as well as indoor pools, a gym, and indoor basketball courts. And so I feel like you can take your family up there, spend the day there, get all the kids, energy out, and then go back home and know that you're not going to have chaos in your house. You can have it at the Brown Park. There's also Grapevine Springs Park. It's a historic nature preserve. It's a small portion of land close to the downtown Coppell area. And it, again, has all kinds of plants and wildlife. So don't miss that either. And then, of course, the parks within the communities. The really most well-known one is the one in Old Town, which is in downtown Coppell. And it's the one that has the farmer's market and all of that. The houses wrap around it. You can walk your dogs. You can have picnics. You can let the kids run around. Okay, the next pro could be a con to you, but it's a pro in this video. And it's that a lot of the neighborhoods have alleyways to get to your garage. So instead of pulling up to the front of your house and driving in, you would go down an alley and go in the back. And what's some people love about that is the aesthetics of it. You just see beautiful fronts of homes as you drive down the streets, and it's just pretty. So it could be a con if you like the front entry. I prefer a front entry simply because I like to be out in the front of my house and talking to my neighbors and doing all of that. But aesthetically, it's a lot prettier to have your driveways in the back. Another pro is their downtown area. I know that I've talked a lot about McKinney downtown, which is epically better than any downtown, even remotely close to here. But Coppell has spent quite a bit of money on their downtown and making it a hub where people can come and hang out to meet friends and take family members. But they have really done a great job in Coppell to create a new town center. You've got George's Coffee, you've got Twisted Root hamburger joint, and it's really great. You've got the farmer's market where you can go and get jewelry and preserves, fresh fruits and vegetables, eggs, meat. So make sure if you're going to go down there and you want to go to the farmer's market that you get online and see what weekends they have it, because it's not every weekend. It's got splash pads, a large green space, a pavilion where they'll do live music. It's just a lot of fun. And if you want to live down there, if you kind of like that walkability feel to your neighborhood, then it's a great place to buy. Just let me know. But it's just super community oriented. It's a lot of fun. So make sure you go to George's and just visit the town square and get that feel of what downtown Coppell has to offer. Obviously, one of the biggest pros is the school system, because Coppell ISD is freaking A+++ rated. It's just a really good school district. It was rated #1 in Dallas County, and it was actually rated #7 in the entire state of Texas. And we've got over 1,000 ISDs in the state of Texas. I think it's like 1,072. It's just right north of 1,000. But I feel like it's such a great school system that if you're kind of going back and forth on whether you want to send your kids to private school, Coppell's public school is really, really good. Now, if you do want private school, there's actually a really great private school in Grapevine, really close to Coppell. It's called Grapevine Faith. And I have several friends that send their kids there. So it's a really high rated Christian-based private school. But there's all kinds of schools around Coppell if you do not want to put your kids in public school. Another really great pro about Coppell is its community feel. Because it is smaller, they have a lot of community activities. It is a great place to raise a family. And I think that's important these days, is to have community and not isolate. I think the social media and all of that, video games, kind of takes us away and disconnects us from a community. And Coppell's done a really great job of putting that back into life. And so it is a really great place to raise a family. The crime rate in Coppell compared to the national average is 41% lower. So it's very safe, very community oriented. There are lots of activities. If you want to get involved, it is not going to be hard at all. So that kind of is a cool thing, I think, if you're looking for safety for your family. It actually gives it an A rating for safety. And so not only do you have all the community events and the farmers market and all the things, the parades, but you have a much lower crime rate compared to the whole state of Texas. So if that's something you're looking for, then it is a huge pro for Coppell. Another big pro is there are lots of things to do if you are wanting activities. You've got Grapevine Lake that's super close to Coppell, and there's all kinds of things to do on the lake. You also have the Trinity River Kayaking Company. This is a little company in Coppell that you can actually kayak down the Trinity River. It's a lot of fun and very unique to Coppell because you just can't go kayaking in a lot of places in Dallas Fort Worth. Coppell, you can. You also have River Chase Golf Club. And I feel like this is a really well hidden secret because it is an 18-hole championship course, but kind of tucked away in Coppell. You feel like it's more private, but they've got a restaurant, they've got a bar. It's just a beautiful place to go and a very good course. Coppell Nature Park, the one that's 66 acres of nature preserve, you can go and take family photos. You can go for the walk. It's a really fun area that I think you can spend a lot of time outdoors. And I do want to mention the farmers market again in Old Town because that's one of the favorite things to do down there. One of the other really cool things that I think is so cool about Coppell is they actually have a theater, a Coppell theater. And it's small, it's only 124 seats. But when you go to a play or a production, you feel like you're right there because it's not a huge auditorium. And so if you love theater or maybe you want to take theater lessons, practice all the things, this is a really great place to start. Let me interrupt. Guys, if you have any questions, text me, email me, doesn't matter. I will get back to you ASAP and get all of your questions answered. Like and subscribe as well. Okay, I'm gonna get into a few cons. And they're important cons. The number one con to living in Coppell, Texas is the property taxes. I want you guys to know that cost of living here can be vastly different from city to city. It's because of our property taxes. But if you're coming from a state like California where you have a state income tax, then it may not be quite as expensive. as what you are used to, because it's just having a state income tax and the fact that we don't helps out a lot. But the number one con to living in Coppell, Texas is the property taxes. It's just because they're high. You do need to keep an eye on property tax, and you could even get different property taxes inside the same city, depending on what county it is and what schools it feeds into. Coppell's is 2.71, which is high. Let me just put into perspective that Frisco, where I live, just dropped theirs to 1.6. So it's a full % higher, and that's a lot, especially when it's off the value of your home and the homes are already more expensive in Coppell. So keep that in mind, and I'll help you with that depending on what city you want to live in. What you're paying for is a stellar school system. You're paying for city tax, you're paying for county tax, and the community college taxes. It just adds up. Now, the average price, the average home in Coppell is about $575,000. And remember, you're paying your property taxes on the amount of your house. So if you're getting a $2 million house, it's going to affect you more than a $300,000 house. But you can actually still get into Coppell in the 300s. It's just probably going to be a condo. If you're needing a big 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom house, it's going to be significantly higher. One of the other cons to Coppell is that there's not a ton of new construction. So if you are looking for a brand new build, there is one community there called Blackberry Farm, and it's being developed right now. You can actually buy a lot. So if that's something you want to do, get a hold of me quickly, because they won't last long. But it's going to be a 54-acre, it's gated community, brand new builds, and they're luxury. So there's going to be 63 home sites. They're going to have parks and green spaces all throughout, and they're going to keep a lot of the native trees and topography. So it's going to be pretty, but you're looking at a higher price point. You're probably going to be anywhere from 1.3 all the way up to 3 million, depending on what builder you pick and what upgrades that you want. Now, I'm going to include some pictures of the builders, the different homes, because they're just unbelievable. They would definitely be on my wish list. So you're going to get what you love. And I would say the lot sizes are going to be about 0.3 acres, so 14,000-ish square feet, depending on how you measure land. So just know that that's going to really be probably one of the only paths to new construction in Coppell. And if you're wanting that, then contact me, because we've got to get a lot, because they're already selling. There's not a ton of new construction options in Coppell because it's such an established city already. Another con is just that the housing is more expensive in Coppell. It is a higher demand city because it is so small. It's a tight-knit community. Great school district. You're going to have people that are drawn to it. The homes are going to be priced more. And like I said a second ago, you can get into a condo or a townhome for cheaper, but if we're looking at your big, 3,000 square foot and above homes, you're looking at a higher price point than a lot of the other metroplex. Another thing about Coppell is it's just higher socioeconomic. And so it brings in a higher price point in salary to give you that perspective. I would say would be a big con is if you love shopping and entertainment. Now, there is shopping and entertainment in Coppell, of course, but you're just not going to have a wide variety. You may have to go to Dallas or Southlake or Frisco to get more choices. You've got North Park Mall in Dallas. You've got Grapevine Mills Mall in Grapevine, but it's more of an outlet mall. You've got Stonebriar Mall in Frisco. You've got the entire Southlake Town Center, which is unbelievable. But again, go back to that pro of proximity. You can get to all of those places really fast. So if you want to live in the small town feel, close community feel, it's not necessarily small town feel, but still have all the amenities around you, Coppell's a great space for that. And then the last thing I probably would say is nightlife. You're not going to have a ton of it. And so again, you're going to have to go to those outer cities, Dallas being the biggest one for nightlife. Southlake has some too, but Dallas is probably going to be your go-to for nightlife, especially if you want to the bar scene or even the club scene. I don't know if that's your style, but just know Dallas has all that to offer, and it's a quick 20-minute drive. You could even Uber there and Uber back. It wouldn't be a big deal. So I hope that I've given you a great perspective. Obviously, I love it. I live in Frisco. I love the tax rate here in Frisco. Lots of, new construction, but Coppell just has that sweet spot in the middle of the metroplex that a lot of people are drawn to. So I hope you enjoyed this. Text me with any questions. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until the next one, have a great rest of your day.